Good evening. It is Monday, August the 30th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This is meteorologist Shay Gibson with Leading Edge Weather, bringing you a preliminary wind and weather forecast for the Indigo Cup race to Georgetown this September 3rd, Friday, starting at 6:30 p.m. Let's go ahead and take me down to the corner. We're going to take a look at the website real quick. I always want to give kudos to CORA and their website. You can come here to find out any racing information. You just scroll right down on the front page here, and the Indigo Cup sailing instructions that were posted today here are available, along with the notice of race and everything else. So always come there for your source of information for the race. Also, in Skipper's information under offshore wind and weather, this is where you're going to find this forecast. These are old forecasts from the summer solstice. I'm going to clear those out and put this one in as soon as it's done populating in YouTube from Screencast-O-Matic here. So let me go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and dive right into the forecast. Looking at things right now, we've got Ida. Ida's going to be remaining sort of a player in the southeast. We may not be directly impacted. We may have a few lines of showers and maybe some increased winds, southerly winds from this thing as it heads off to the northeast generally and then over the mid-Atlantic. So we do expect an exit off the mid-Atlantic coast. It'll cross right over the Chesapeake Bay area and then off of the Virginia, Delaware, or Delmarva coast, I should say. So it's going to be taking sort of a track in this direction right here and then racing off to the east-northeast in time. What that means for us is we're just in the warm sector below it with southerly flow, convergent flow coming up and through Thursday. Now things are going to shift when we get into Friday. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Looks like Great Lakes high pressure might try to organize and squeeze down into the southeast region behind this. This this is also going to have a trailing front down below it, a cold front that's going to be wrapping up as this becomes more of a baroclinic feature. Baroclinic meaning a frontal zone feature. It's going to become a low, as a remnant low. There's going to be a front that's going to be pushing through the area as we get into Thursday night and into Friday morning. So what that means for us is what comes in behind it. Do we have north winds or do we have northeast winds? That's going to be the big question. Now we're still almost 5 days, just about the 5 day mark. So things can change. This is a preliminary forecast. Keep that in mind. But also, what the signal shows right now is that this low gets out of here and we have Great Lakes high pressure trying to set up an eastern ridge down the coastline. Let's take a look at the WPC surface map. And let's just take it forward here, one day at a time. We're going into Tuesday. Here we go into Wednesday. You can see the low getting drawn all along this front. See, this is what I was talking about, the baroclinic zone where we have frontal activity. And this remnant low is going to get caught up along this front. It's going to push off to the northeast across the mid-Atlantic. Then you see that cold front dropping down towards our region along the post-TC Ida sort of the exit area of where it's leaving the coastline. It gets caught down below it and pulled down and around down through our area. Now this Great Lakes High right here, this is the feature I'm talking about. This is going to have a nice little gradient pinch between this low and the high pressure of the Great Lakes, and eventually we're expecting that to push down all the way across the Charleston area and all the way up to Georgetown. So as we go further into time, this is Thursday morning. We get into Friday morning, and then Friday, actually, we don't have a 18Z, but we can assume at this point that we're going to be dealing with some sort of northeast or northeasterly gradient building down behind this front. So this is going to be the concern for the start of the race. This tells whether or not it's going to be modest or moderate northeast or east-northeast flow. We definitely do not want a moderate or strong setup from this. And at this point, the high, we'll have to look at the modeling and see how things go. If this high stays as a 1,024 millibar or higher ridge, then we may be looking at stronger winds. It's just going to be, we'll have to wait and watch and see what happens through the week with this system. But as we get into Saturday, we can see that that ridge is pretty firm over the entire eastern seaboard. We're going to be looking at an east-northeast, the east wind as we get into Saturday morning, overnight Friday into Saturday morning. So that's going to be, something to be watching. Now, the more east it goes, the better. The more north it goes, the better. But when you have a dead headwind up the coastline, up the angle of the coast, that makes for a tricky, also a bumpy ride when the waves kick up as well. Taking a look at GFS, let's take a look at Ida as it goes through the Tennessee Valley and up through the mid-Atlantic. We can see the low holds, and then we see that southerly wind drawing up with it. And as we turn the night into Thursday night and into Friday morning, this is the GFS model. We get into Friday 8 a.m. and then we get into the afternoon hours and into the night. We see that northeast gradient building. And this is my concern right here because we may have some short waving offshore as well. And then maybe when you get to 20 nautical miles or more offshore, maybe some storm or some rain activity ongoing out there just off of the Gulf Stream. Gulfstream's a little further out, about 50 to 60 miles, but we could still get some shortwave energy with some erratic weather out that way. So either way, a little early to tell, but that's sort of the signal for right now is looking at a northeast or east northeast wind as we start on Friday. The models are kind of all over the place with it. We can take a quick look here at Winyah Bay. And one good thing is we have a sensor there, and this is on the Winyah Bay front range, range A rear light. The height is 50 feet, but it's on that south jetty, and this is a really good point of data. So if you have sail flow, this station is visible in sail flow. And I'll go ahead and run all models real quick. We're going 5 days out again. I keep stressing that, and we see a lot of model agreement with right at the start time, east northeast or northeast winds. So the Canadians in the yellow, then we have the NAM 12 in the green, the GFS or the CMC or Wave Watch 3 in the brown here. So it looks like some agreement. The big question is, what are the winds going to be at that time, and is this going to make it all the way down the coast as a significant or moderate northeast wedge? I don't really see that with the system. It looks like the Great Lakes High is going to weaken as it plops down into the southeast and expands down the Appalachians. Usually, when we have a big ridge, it's a giant like 1,032 or bigger, and it really just sets up along the East Coast and brings that wedge down for days at a time. I'm not seeing that with this one, but we'll have to wait and watch. But here's the course, anyways. When you head out the jetties, and then R4 is the finish line, which is going to be just off the south jetty here. As you can see, right next to our sensor. So, I mean, you'll be getting winds in real time right here if you're able to get inside and get a cell signal and be able to see that really well right next to the R4. So that's a good point of data. And as you head into Winyah Bay and up the river, of course, depending on the winds, it'd probably be okay. And I'll at the skippers meeting, I'll talk about what's going to happen Saturday and Sunday for folks that want to come back down the coastline as well. So taking a look at one really cool point of information here. Now, we haven't gotten in our SailFlow API yet, but it is available on the NDBC site, is the CORMP. They have supplemented the Capers Nearshore buoy with a new Cap 2 wave buoy. So this does wave heights and wave period and anything that has to do with waves or water level for that matter. And this is a really good buoy. So if you don't have this, I'll post this as a link underneath my video tonight on the Skippers in the skipper section where you can look at the weather. But this is a really good point of data, and this is more in real time. We haven't gotten it in our API for the forecast element yet because we just do wind, not so much the wave activity. But it is a good point that shows you what the real-time information is, and you can plug that in your phone as a point of reference for a link to see what's going on. This is about 5 to 6 nautical miles out, and that's indicative of what you're going to be heading into as you go up the coastline. So good point of data there. Really good addition. The NDVC added this buoy, or CORMP added this buoy about 2 months ago, back in July, right about the same time the Edisto buoy is fixed. Nearshore Wave Prediction System out of the National Weather Service Charleston. Let's take it up to September the 3rd and get it right about the start time, which is about 5 o'clock p.m. right here. Looks like waves offshore beyond 3 to 5 nautical miles are going to be about 2 to 3 feet. I would say with any sort of a northeast swell, might be looking 3 to 4, a little less as you head in closer to the coast. Of course, you don't want to get too close to the entrance to Bulls Bay. We know how that goes. You want to stay well offshore. You may be in the pocket in these waves, but you can see the directions east-northeast at about 2 to 3. I'm thinking more along the 3-foot mark and possibly even pushing 4. As we go overnight into the night, we see that swell backing out a little bit from the coastline and then filtering back in from the east southeast the next day. So yeah, not too bad, nothing too crazy on the wave end of it, because the models are really, this is more GFS driven. It's more picking up on a modest to possibly moderate east northeast flow. So again, one of these things we got to wait and see. Here's the National Hurricane Center. Nothing's expected for our area. Ida's going to be moving to the northeast. Everything stays to the south over the Caribbean if that were to happen. Kate's going to be heading to the north eventually, northwest and the north, and then pretty much the only thing else out there is this wave coming off of Africa. So this has a 90% chance, but this is so far out. In other words, nothing to worry about for tropics for us along the southeast coast. Air temperatures look pretty pleasant. If we get that northerly wind down the coast, it cools off just a little bit. We get up to near 90 by midweek and then taper off to mid 80s by the end of the week into Friday and into the weekend. No rain expected for Friday night or Saturday morning, or even Saturday for that matter. And lows are pleasant, near upper 60s to 70s. So that's going to be kind of refreshing as well. We're used to getting those upper 70s near 80s this time of the year. So that'll be good. But again, going back to CORA and the skipper's information under offshore wind and weather is where this forecast will be. And I will do our next update on Wednesday night. I'll see you guys at the skipper's meeting then. Until next time, everybody take care and plan accordingly. Thanks.